it was time to expose my little ones to all the beauty that is the Star Wars movies. So I started from the beginning, popped on A New Hope, although I don't think it was called A New Hope when I went to, when I was in 4th grade. It was just Star Wars. And anyway, kind of got hooked. Babies, I don't think, cared. I tried to show my older one, again, older. He's just over 2.5. Darth Vader. I told him how Darth Vader's probably one of the best bad guys of all time in history and in movie history. And I remember being a little kid watching him and thinking he was so scary, and the James Earl Jones voice and the breathing, and I think he was played by an actor that was like 6'10" or something like that. And just thought he was an awesome bad guy, and enjoyed watching the first one, and rolled into Empire Strikes Back, which I've heard a lot of people say might be the best Star Wars movie of all time, and it is a good one. We rolled into Return of the Jedi, which was a pretty solid movie, although a little cute and fuzzy, with the Ewoks and their spears and their little clubs that they'd hit the stormtroopers on the heads with. Yeah, they look like koala bears fighting stormtroopers, and it seemed kind of wrong because the stormtroopers through most of the, my childhood were pretty tough and pretty scary. Hello, Tracy from Indiana. Were pretty tough and pretty scary to see. So to see Ewoks taking them down with these little clubs, I don't know. But anyway, then rolled into A Force Awakens, which I'd seen at the theater. I'm shocked to hear to realize this weekend that it came out in 2015, which is 9 years ago already. And I talk about it a lot, how quickly time flies, but it does fly quickly. So that was 9 years ago. And what stands out for that movie, it was kind of a return to the feeling of the original Star Wars movies, with them actually on planets and not digital creation, and all, they could get wet, and they could get dirty, and they could be in the sand, and they could, versus those few, I forget which ones they are, they call them the first 3 of the movies. They were all computer-generated backdrops, and I don't know, I thought kind of silly. And PGJWFG's agreeing with me. But anyway, I did want to touch on one thing as I watched The Force Awakens. Although I loved Han Solo coming back. I loved it. And he was as funny as ever and as charming as ever. Older, but amazing, because, that was 30... almost 40 years after the original came out. And again, I was in 4th grade when the original came out, so I probably looked a little older than I did then too. But I loved his character. The one thing I noticed is the Force Awakens was just kind of the same story with different characters. And I realized that as I watched all those later Star Wars movies, they kind of, they did the father-son thing and the struggling with the dark side thing. And it was almost like they took the same exact script from the first 3 movies and said, hey, so one of the biggest grossing movies of all time, why don't we just freshen up the script a little bit, put in different characters, and looking for the secret plans, the huge laser that can blow up, whole planets and what have you. But anyway, I must say I did still enjoy A Force Awakens this weekend, watching it again and watching 4 Star Wars movies in a row, and it did remind me how great those movies are. Despite the Ewoks, and despite Darth Vader losing so much of his scariness when his helmet came off, and when he kind of became mishy-mashy and started caring for Luke a little bit in the 3rd one. Kind of wish he would have stayed a bad guy. Kind of wish he would have stayed a bad guy. and let the Emperor blast Luke Skywalker to oblivion, instead of picking up the Emperor and throwing him down something.